Even if San Diego County miraculously gets the 4 inches of rain needed to bring us up to a normal rainfall year, it still won't be enough water to get us out of the drought. Joining me with more on how our local farmers are coping and innovations that might help is my guest, USDA Rural Development Specialist and California Small Farm Council President, Karen Rich Firestein. Karen, San Diego County has more small farms in the county than any other county in California. Where do those farms get their irrigation water from?
They get their water from multiple places, actually. There's the Colorado River. Most of the water comes from the Sierra with the snowpack, and then it's brought down via different systems through the state and the federal government to the farms in Southern California.
The snowpack is important then, just as important as rainfall for farmers?
Oh, it's much more important than rainfall.
How come?
Well, because the snowpack fills our reservoirs, and we need those reservoirs to give the plants and crops water all summer long, all through the growing season.
Sure, and our snowpacks have been down too. There's also the issue in California's Central Valley about groundwater depletion. Why is that an issue to farmers?
Well, that's another source of water supply besides the surface water that I mentioned earlier. The groundwater also needs to be recharged for years when we have lots of water. And as the water is depleted, it affects farmers and also rural residents in getting the water that they need to grow their crops.
Let's talk about this drought and what it's doing to local farmers here in San Diego County. Are farmers changing crops? Are they going out of business? What's happening here?
Well, you know, we're 4 years into the drought, and it isn't the first time California has had a drought. So a lot of new technology is already old technology that farmers are currently using, but they're just using it a lot smarter. And at the Small Farm Conference, we have experts from USDA, from UC Cooperative Extension, soil scientists, all converge either as being a board member or being a member of our local planning committee. They're at workshops, they're leading field courses, and there is an exhibit hall. So there's a wealth of knowledge. So that new technology and how they can save water is being shared with our farmers at the Small Farm Conference.
So it sounds like they don't have to be isolated just because, well, the whole state's in a drought, but that sounds helpful.
Correctly.
Let's talk about these field courses. On Sunday, there were busloads of people going out to various farms. What was that all about?
Oh, those are exciting. You know, wake up in the morning and everybody's coming down, and of course it's daylight savings time, so everybody had to get up an hour earlier.
So just like farmers, just like real farmers.
Just like they're farmers.
Okay.
So they are farmers, and they're used to getting up early, and they were on the buses by 8:30, and they were off in all directions. They had to, they're not just tours, but they're educational field courses. So on the buses are experts. So they're learning the whole time. They're on the bus and off the bus. So they visited farmers markets. They had agritourism stops because that's an expert way of farmers earning extra money for small farmers.
And they looked at some of the innovations, right?
And they also visited innovations so they could actually see the production practices on small farms and how they could adapt it to their use to remain viable economic small farms.
Sure, we're talking about the drought here, but also there's the issue of the price of water. How does that affect farmers?
Well, supply and demand. So as water becomes much more expensive, farmers become much more creative, and then of course as they need more ideas, the experts create those ideas. So today at our plenary session, we heard from A.J. Karamori, who's looking at agriculture as the solution for climate change. We had a farmer that discussed and shared with him his ways of using composting
sure,
to enrich the soil and save the soil. And we had Casey Anderson from the San Diego's Farm Bureau, and he discussed the technology that's being used and how farmers are switching their crops or changing how they grow their crops to be more water efficient. So I think the technology is here. We're just getting to be a little bit more price-wise. So, you know, water is an input, but there's also other inputs that farmers have.
Well, there's a few more days left at the conference, so hopefully that'll go very well. Karen Rich Firestein, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much.